Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we have a new training on n8n, which is an automation tool. And I'm going to show you today how I can create a workflow or a scenario that will automate a task, that businesses or content creators do every day, and that is video creation. So the idea is simple. We're going to learn how to create this workflow. I'm going to start developing it from A to Z, starting from a blank page, where I'll be setting up, the different nodes. So we'll learn to manipulate Telegram, and we'll also learn to work with servers or remote APIs, like, for instance, the HTTP request APIs. Here we're going to call on external servers. We're also going to use APIs like, for example, the one from one. This one allows you to start from a video where there's a character, and we're going to replace it with another avatar. So we can either change the background, or we can also use it to keep the original background. So the idea, if you will, to keep it simple, I can detect viral videos that are really taking off, that get millions of views. What's the objective? It's that I'm going to take those videos and replace the avatar. I'm going to replace it with either my own avatar or the avatar of another person. And even the voice, in fact, we're going to adapt it so that it's automatically a voice that works with the new avatar. So the need to create a workflow like this one, for example, there are many companies that film, for instance, customer experiences, but they don't want to show the client or the person who gave a testimonial or an explanation. And so you can simply replace them with a new avatar, thanks to artificial intelligence, thanks to APIs. And instead of doing it manually, we can obviously do it with workflows that can at any time send them. I'll show you, for example, here. I come along, I send, for example, a photo of this avatar and the video that I want to change it with. So the system will actually replace the person inside the video. Sometimes I've even tested it with my own photo, with my own avatar, and the result is actually very interesting. In the past, if you were to do it by calling, a person who does design, or, a video editor who masters Adobe tools, well, for sure, they would spend days and days doing it because it's very complicated technically. But today, with APIs like these ones here, you just have to send the photo of your avatar along with the video, and the system will really adapt it. So what's our idea? It's that, quite simply, we're going to create a workflow capable of receiving a video with an avatar. He's going to replace everything. Most importantly, it will call upon other APIs that are responsible for changing the voice. That means I'm going to send him a small prototype of my voice. That means a 1-minute recording, regardless of the platform. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or even a recording on WhatsApp. As soon as it receives my voice, it is able to recreate the video with my own voice, with my own avatar if I want. So really, he works on the photo and also on the voice. And finally, there's also the option to publish it automatically. So the new video can be published on 6 social networks, namely TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So the goal, in fact, isn't just to learn how to create this workflow, but the goal of this training is that you will be, let's say, comfortable when you manipulate n8n, this automation tool. That means we will create several APIs, we will connect several nodes, we will make connections, we will understand how to manipulate it. So that's the goal, that in the end you will be able to imagine your own scenarios, adapt this scenario to your own needs, and simply become an expert in automation. That's the goal. So helping him, the example, it's just an example for educational purposes, for training, but it is actually rich in several connections, and with several, we even find Google products like Google Sheets here. So the system will actually teach us how to manipulate everything. So the training will be for beginners, step by step. I start from the creation of the workflow with the creation of the first node, and you always have, pay attention here, documentation. So this is documentation that will be accompanied by training. So this is documentation where I put all the code I used, links, APIs, and other necessary information. So when you create this workflow, everything you find at the level of, for example, APIs or connections will obviously be thoroughly studied here, and you will automatically find the source code and information in the documentation. With that, I wish you a good training, and I'll see you in the next video. There we're going to start creating the first trigger node with Telegram. Thanks. So before continuing the training, I like to give a short introduction for those who are seeing the video for the first time. I am Dr. Firaz, and today I am a full-time instructor on the Udemy platform. I create a lot of training courses in the fields of marketing, business, and artificial intelligence. Today I have several training courses which are currently the best-selling in France. And also I am ranked as the most popular trainer in this platform there at the level. So the French-speaking part. So here I have my profits with several. So training, and if you search on Udemy just with the keyword n8n, you will find that I have hundreds of training courses today which are available for the community for those who want to buy training courses on Udemy. Also, of course, I have grouped all these training courses which are advanced workshops on n8n. I've created the beginner to expert training. So it's a course that groups all my videos and workshops in one place. For those interested in getting access to this course, stay until the end of the video, because at the end I'm going to give you a little gift to encourage you to really start the n8n training from beginner to expert mode. Now let's continue with our workflow. And here we go. So what we'll need here is an n8n server to be able to create a workflow. Now to get a server, there are two ways. Either we come here to the official n8n website, and so here we'll simply go to pricing, and I can choose one of these servers. Now the drawback we have here, you'll see that if I pay $20 a month, it will only give me 5 active workflows. And 5 active workflows per server is very few, especially if we're freelancers or people who want to test several workflows and learn how to handle automation. So either we can move to a second server here that will give us up to 20 active workflows, and that's $50. Now there's actually an alternative to the official n8n server here, which is to simply go with Hostinger's server. So I'll obviously leave you the link to this Hostinger server. Be careful, you need to be on Hostinger's n8n server because Hostinger offers several types of servers. The one we're interested in isn't a classic server, it's an n8n server. So you simply have the link, and once you access this server, you'll see that it will offer you several types of servers. Now for me, what's interesting is this one, the KVM2 and the KVM4. The only difference here is that this one has 2 processors and this one has 4 processors. So it's about the power and strength of the processor. But on the workflow side, it's unlimited. And that's what I love about Hostinger. I can set, an unlimited number of workflows. So I'm not limited to 1 or 2 active workflows at the same time. I can even have 100 workflows and activate and run them in parallel. And so the system works without any problem. So if you're a freelancer, take this one. If you're a company, meaning an entrepreneur who wants to set up and activate workflows within your business, you can of course choose the server, the KVM4 with 4 processors. This one is really powerful, and it can, execute very quickly. It won't lag or be slow. So if I take this one for example, you'll see there's a little trick to get another discount, because here we're at 5.99 euros a month, which is a very interesting price. But here, I can click here to enter a coupon, and you can put in, anyway, today Hostinger has a Black Friday deal. So if you're lucky enough to still be in the Black Friday period, I don't know when you'll be taking my course. But today there's n8 and 15. So here it actually offers a 15% discount. So yes, if this one doesn't work because it's very time limited, then this one, go n8n, is a coupon they made for beginners, for people who want to try it for the first time. So you enter go n8n, click on apply, and you'll see that it will give you a 10% discount. It's always interesting, so there you go. The price is always more interesting, but of course this is the Black Friday one that works. And the 8/15th offer is a great deal. Why not take advantage of it? It's very interesting at €5 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's very interesting. You will come here to choose the n8n server. By default, it will put you on that server. I recommend you choose this one. That one, when you click on content, it's free. It will provide you with its pre-installed workflow on your server. This means that when you get n8n for the first time, there will be 100 of the world's most downloaded workflows pre-installed. So you can simply test them and take advantage of the powerful workflows that can give you inspiration and ideas to continue. After that, you confirm, and then you simply click on continue here to confirm the order from your server. Once the server is created, that's when we'll create our first workflow, and therefore we'll create and manipulate n8n. So let's get started. So here we're going to create the workflow. So we're going to click here on create workflow, and here we'll actually need to set up what we call a trigger. That means the node where when it receives information, the whole workflow will be triggered. So that's why when we finish the workflow, we click here to activate, and that way even if we close the computer, the workflow is listening for my trigger. So the trigger I'm going to use is Telegram. I can use others like Messenger, WhatsApp, or any other tool where I send information and the system is triggered. But I like Telegram because it's the easiest to set up. It's free, it's lightweight, and it doesn't require verification. So I click on in message, which means that if I open my Telegram here, or if I'm here in my Telegram on my phone, or so on my personal computer, if I happen to see some information or notification appear here on Telegram, the system that I have set up will automatically trigger and launch my entire workflow process. My idea here is that I want to send an image to my Telegram account. Specifically, it's a picture of my avatar, along with the link to my video, the particular video where I want to change the avatar image. First, I need to create what's called a channel. A channel in this context means a dedicated space or area, because I need a specific space like here or here, where when I send the information, this workflow will be triggered. On my Telegram account, I actually have several different workflows set up. So each workflow, if I'm going to trigger it, needs to have its own separate channel or room where I'll make the necessary changes. So how do I do that? You'll see here, I'll go here, click on the button that says create a new credential, and we'll call it something like in the summer of the grams. I'll call it WAM2, but you can name it whatever you like, depending on your preference. And here I'll need to look for a specific code. The code is called access to CAN, and that's what I'm going to retrieve from my Telegram account. So on Telegram, of course, you go back to the official documentation. You'll find it here in the documentation. There's the link to download your Telegram application. There's even official n8n documentation here that shows you step by step how to connect Telegram to n8n, and it's actually quite easy to do. So I'll show you. I'll go back up, and the grams, I'm going to go here to find Bude Favori. So Bude Favori is simply the official church bot that allows me to create channels. So it's the one that's highlighted in glass, no rather in blue. So when I click on open, we'll open it here. There, I'm on the boot folder. I'm going to put boot here. New boot. That's what interests me. We're going to create a new boot. It says, okay, what name do you want to give it? Let's call it Dr. Firas Tereba or 1, and I'll put it like this. I can call it II or 2 like that, or even give it another name if I want to personalize it further. This way, you can organize your workflows and channels in a way that makes sense for your own system, ensuring that each workflow is triggered only in the correct context and space. Alright, he tells me very good and says to add bot at the end. So I'm just going to do the same thing again, derfiras_1. So for the name, you can put whatever you want. So here, I'm going to put 2 L's and I'll add bot. So you had to add bot at the end like that. And I click send. So there, it's just being created. Now look here, there's this code. In fact, this is the code I'm going to retrieve. So let's go. We select the code. And we need to copy it. So it's very, very important to copy this code for it to work. There. Now I'm just going to paste this code here. So once it's pasted, I'm just going to click on save. And there you go. So now it's connected. The connection is very good, so I can exit. And now my trigger is ready. So I can test if the trigger works or not. Let's go. We'll execute it. So now it's actually listening for me to send it some information. Well, I'm executing it manually, but normally later, when I finish my workflow, I have to activate this part. And even if I shut down the computer every time I go on Telegram, here. So now I have to point to this new channel. Is this one? So I'm going to click here to open it. It's this one actually. I'm going to click on start. You'll see that there you go. It actually detected start. There, it detected start. So everything that will be sent here will simply be retrieved. So now what I'm going to send is a short video, and I'm also going to send an image so that the system captures them and sends them to our workflow. All right, so what I'm going to do now, once we've created our trigger together, I'll need to send information to that trigger. So for the information, first, I'm going to send it a video. I'll take this video example here. So this is a video where I'm the one talking. So it's a, 10-second video, so we can run the test. I'm just going to send a short video so it won't consume too much of our API. So what's the idea? The idea is that for the workflow, when I send it a video, that contains a person who is talking, giving a presentation, or, making movements or even dancing, I want this video to be replaced, this avatar to be replaced by another person. So I'm going to send another avatar. And on top of that, I want him now, it's me talking, actually, it's my voice. I want it to be changed to another voice for another avatar. So if we're going to use a female avatar, then I want to simply choose another voice so that the same thing, in fact, will be said in this video. Everything he says here, we'll say it again, but with another voice, with another person. So how are we going to proceed? Obviously, all the movements you're seeing, the new avatar simply has to do the same things, whether with the head or the hands and everything. So we're going to quickly choose a small avatar. So here, I'll take a quick test. I'm going to a crazy website. We're going to find a photo, and in that particular photo, we're going to carefully look for and find a woman. We're going to find the person with whom he's going to do the movements. These are open source photos, so that means copyright free, so they are free to use, and we're going to use them to make our demonstration. Right? So I'm going to choose something where we're going to leave the system to be invented. There are really a lot of choices available. Let's go, we'll take it. We might look for a visual that's a bit, we can choose a photo that's a bit special, but I prefer to keep a business setting or something a bit more special. Okay, what do you think? Shall we choose this? Yes, I think we can actually choose that photo. So listen, we're going to download it. So the photo has just been uploaded. Okay, so we're going to work on this photo to send it to Telegram. So if I open Telegram, which is a popular messaging application, let's just go ahead and send this photo to someone. I'll make sure to save it to my device, by the way, just in case I need it later. Then after that, I'll also need to send the video file as well. Because here in Telegram, we actually need to send two separate pieces of information. One is the image and the other is the video. For the video, what I'm going to do is upload it somewhere online so it can be easily accessed. You can upload it right here on the Cloud n8n website, which is a cloud-based media management platform. You can create a free account there, which is really convenient if you don't already have one. This way, you can store and share your media files without any hassle. And here, you can simply send the videos. So I simply sent the video here. And I'm simply going to retrieve the URL. Look there, that's the URL. I click here. So I just copied the URL. Now, if I come back here, okay, what I'm going to do, I tell him, so execute, I want you to listen. So here, he is listening. Look, so here he is waiting for me to send him the information. I'm accessing my Telegram here. Here we go. I come and I actually send the photo. Be careful with the photo in the caption chain. I simply place the URL. So here I copied and pasted it. I click send. So we just sent this photo with the video in question. And I tell him, by the way, if I click here, you will see that I will find here is the photo that was just sent. In addition to that, the caption and the text. So what do we have? We have sent two pieces of information, and I will now need to retrieve these two pieces of information. So firstly, I will retrieve the image so that the workflow will work. So to retrieve the image, I will call Telegram, you will see. And here in Telegram, there is get file. In fact, it is this one, it is this function that allows to retrieve an image, because the image, when we send it on Telegram, it is encrypted, so it is quite normal. It is a Telegram encryption system so that it delivers it in a secure way. And here, at this point, it specifically needs the file ID. So the file ID, as you will see, is something we're going to find right here. The file ID is where the information for that particular file is located and stored. So we'll look for it. We're going to look for the file ID rather. So file ID. So we scroll down a bit, here's the data, and right here we have the photos. So what I'm going to do here is, look, when I send a photo, Telegram actually saves it in several different sizes. If you send a large photo, it will save it in 3, 4, or 5 different sizes. If you send a small photo, it will generally save it in 2 sizes. That's kind of Telegram's technique for how it retrieves an image. It all depends on the size of the image. So what I'm going to do is ask it to give me the best size, which means right here, it's the last ID. So how do we find the last ID? As you can see here, it's the 4th image, which has the ID 3, so it's n-1. So what I'm going to do, look, is usually when I click here, I get the ID here. And normally, that works very well. But you see here, in fact, when I put the number 3, I'm not actually sure I'll always have photo 3, because sometimes it might only have a maximum of photo 2, because the image is small. So just a little technique is that I'm going to ask it to see how many photos were sent, and to put here the number of photos -1. Because if there are 4, then it's 4 minus 1. In our case, it's n-1. So here, it's just a function, really. There, I've replaced the number 3 with the number length, that's the number, -1. So that's simply a technique, there you go, to detect the ID of the last image. So obviously, you might ask how I know this. Now, it's true that we have a developer background, so we know how to write it and how to do it. But generally, if you don't know how to do it, no problem, you ask ChatGPT. And ChatGPT will literally write the exact information for you. Because this information, I asked ChatGPT to write it for me, and it gave it to me. And there you go. When I put it in, it's green, so it works very well. Look here, when I execute this step, by the way, always remember to rename your node. When I execute it, you'll see, so there, so we'll maybe click here, save, always remember to save. Also, always remember to pin the node that has been executed correctly. Why do I pin it here? I pin it because, quite simply, if I refresh my page, because sometimes it happens that the page, you lose data or there's an error, you refresh. So when I refresh, I don't lose the data. Look, the data is still saved here. No need to resend the information, because that's a good way to learn how to develop with n8n. Because sometimes when you have a very, very large workflow, one that contains dozens and dozens of nodes, if you reload the page, you'll have to re-execute the node from the very beginning. And so you can waste a lot of time, especially if there are APIs that connect and even consume credits. So now that I've saved the pin here, you'll see we're going to execute this one to retrieve the image. Excellent. So right here, the image has just been retrieved. In fact, if I click on view, I'll see my image. There it is. It's good. So I'll save that. And then once the image is saved, I'll also need to put it on a link, actually, what we call a public link. Why do I put it on a public link? Because when we use APIs like this one from one here, it requires that when I send the photo of my avatar, that photo must be hosted on a public online server with these specific extensions so that it can use it. It can't use the image from Telegram because the image on Telegram, as we said, is already encrypted. On top of that, here it has what's called a binary format, so it can't read it. So I'm going to show you in the very next video how I can simply upload that image online to a public URL so that I can use it throughout my workflow. Alright, so now we're going to save it to an online server. The online server I suggest, you'll find it in the documentation, is this one. So what is it? It's called TMP Files. TMP Files, quite simply, is a website where I can host an image, but be careful, it's temporary. So the image, I think it won't last more than an hour, there you go, but that's more than enough. I just need to retrieve it so I can simply process it or, well, run my job with the API. So it's really temporary. So what we're going to do is simply come back here. And here I'm going to call that server with what's called the HTTP request. So the HTTP request here, so obviously always in the documentation, you'll find the codes and the settings you need to configure. So here, I'm going to see if I've put it for you in the HTTP request. In fact, I'm going to add a little code here. Here, I'm going to put for you, there you go, you'll need to create a method called post. Post is for sending information and get is for retrieving it. I need to send the photo so it gets saved. And this, in fact, is simply the upload URL. So if I come back here, I'll set it to post. There, to send. And here I'm going to put, quite simply, be careful here, when I put in the URL. So this URL is what I'll use to send it this folder, this file, this photo. Remember, I can see it there. That's the photo I want to send. And here I tell it, send body, and I'm going to say, listen, I'm sending you simply a format called form data. There, you'll see here, it's not JSON, it's actually form data. There you go. And I tell it, listen, I'm sending you a format created inside of n8n binary file. And here the name, so the name actually. So you'll see, file name, be careful, you're going to put the word. So I'm looking here, I'm going to put the name file. And I'm going to tell it here that the input data field name is this, it's data. So there, I copy this and that. In fact, I'm going to test it to see if it works or not. So it gave me a URL. All right, let's test it and see if this URL opens correctly or not. Hop, hop, hop. And there you go. So the image, I've uploaded it correctly. So there, this image, there. It's already telling me it will expire at, so 5:48 p.m. in an hour. So it will actually stay up for an hour before this image expires. So that's more than enough time for me to work with it. So now I'm going to, of course, pin this here, okay, to save these two pieces of information. So what will I need to send now? Careful, I'll actually need to send the URL of the video, this one here. I'll actually need to retrieve this, which is sent in the images caption, so that I can continue my workflow. So I'm going to show you how to also retrieve this this code, or rather this URL.